The control room shakes. Alarms scream. Water rushes somewhere beneath them. Operator Leonid Toptonov stares at his panel. Every reading is impossible. Reactor power spiking, pressure collapsing, temperature rising beyond the scale. His superior, Alexander Akimov, slams the emergency shutdown button. Nothing happens. Then, the building lifts. Steel twists. The ceiling cracks open, and through that crack, they see it. A column of light, blue and white, beautiful and wrong. It's 1:23 a.m., April 26, 1986. Reactor 4 has exploded, and the men in this room are already dying. 12 hours earlier, the night shift takes over. They've been ordered to run a safety test, simulating a power failure to see if the reactor's turbines can keep coolant pumps running long enough for backup generators to kick in. The test has been delayed, postponed, rushed. The reactor is operating at low power, unstable territory. Protocol says to wait. Management says proceed. Toptonov is 26. He's been here less than a year. Akimov, 33, knows the reactor better, but he follows orders. They begin withdrawing control rods, pulling the brakes out of a nuclear reaction. Power drops too low. They panic, pull more rods. The reactor is now operating with almost no safety margin. A design flaw buried in Soviet secrecy makes this reactor volatile at low power. The operators don't know this. They were never told. The RBMK reactor has a fatal characteristic. At low power, removing control rods doesn't slow the reaction. It accelerates it. Graphite tips on the rods displace water, briefly spiking reactivity before the neutron-absorbing material enters the core. It's called a positive void coefficient. In the West, this design would never be approved. In the Soviet Union, it's a state secret. At 1:22 a.m., they shut off the steam to the turbines. For 40 seconds, everything seems fine. Then, the water inside the reactor begins to boil uncontrollably. Steam pressure builds, power surges, not gradually, but exponentially. 100 times normal capacity in 4 seconds. The fuel rods shatter. Steam meets molten uranium. The reactor core, a 1,500-ton steel cylinder, becomes a bomb. The first explosion is steam. The second is hydrogen. The roof of Reactor 4 blows apart. 1,000 tons of radioactive graphite are exposed to open air. Chunks of reactor core are thrown across the facility. Some pieces glow red, others burn blue. One fragment lands on the turbine hall roof. Another embeds itself in the ground near the cooling towers. Akimov can't accept what his instruments are telling him. The reactor is intact, he insists. He sends men to open the coolant valves manually, sending them into rooms flooded with radiation. They wade through radioactive water. Their skin tingles. Some taste metal. They don't understand why. Deputy Chief Engineer Anatoly Dyatlov arrives. He's furious. He accuses the operators of incompetence. "You did something wrong," he shouts. He refuses to believe the core has exploded. He threatens to fire anyone who suggests otherwise. In the turbine hall, oil catches fire. Flames climb 30 meters high. At 1:28 a.m., the fire brigade from Pripyat arrives. Lieutenant Vladimir Pravik is 23. He sees the burning roof. He doesn't see the radiation pouring from the core. No one tells him. He leads his men onto the roof with canvas hoses. The tar beneath their boots has melted. The heat is brutal, but it's not the heat that's killing them. Sergeant Vasily Ignatenko climbs a ladder. He aims water at flames that won't go out. His face burns, but not from fire. He doesn't know that every breath is filling his lungs with radioactive particles. He doesn't know that his bone marrow is already destroyed. Some firefighters pick up pieces of graphite scattered around the site. The chunks are warm. They glow faintly. "Look at this," one says, holding a piece in his bare hand. It weighs almost nothing. It's porous, crumbling. Within 60 seconds, his hand has absorbed a dose that will kill him in 2 weeks. By 10 a.m., some firefighters are vomiting uncontrollably. They assume it's smoke inhalation. It's acute radiation syndrome. Their bodies are breaking down from the inside. Their white blood cells are dying. Their intestines are shedding their linings. In the control room, Akimov still believes the reactor core is intact. "It's a hydrogen tank," he says, "not the core." He refuses to believe that an RBMK reactor could explode. It's impossible. Soviet engineering doesn't fail like this. He orders more men into the reactor hall to inspect the core. They open heavy doors. They see rubble, smoke, a space where the reactor should be, shattered fuel assemblies, twisted metal. They return and report. The core is destroyed. Akimov shakes his head. He doesn't want to believe them. The alternative is unthinkable. Plant director Viktor Bryukhanov calls Moscow. He reports a minor accident, some fuel damage, a small fire. He doesn't mention the explosion. He doesn't mention the exposed core. He's terrified of being blamed. In the Soviet system, admitting catastrophic failure is career suicide, or worse. Meanwhile, Akimov and Toptonov remain at their posts. They try to pump water into a reactor that no longer exists. They twist valves. They check gauges. They follow procedures written for accidents that are manageable. This is not manageable, but they don't abandon their posts. They stay for hours, absorbing lethal doses, because leaving would mean accepting they've failed. By dawn, radiation detectors near the plant are maxing out. The highest reading they can show is 3.6 Roentgen per hour, the equivalent of a chest X-ray every few seconds. But the actual radiation is 15,000 Roentgen per hour. The detectors aren't broken. They just weren't built to measure this. A scientist arrives with a military dosimeter, one designed for nuclear war, takes a reading near the reactor hall. The needle slams to the maximum, 200 Roentgen per hour. He realizes immediately the core is exposed. He reports this to officials. They accuse him of spreading panic. In Pripyat, 3 kilometers away, people wake up normally. Parents make breakfast. Children get ready for school. Through their windows, they can see a strange glow above the power plant. Some go to the railway bridge to get a closer look. They stand there for hours, watching smoke rise, fascinated by the colors in the sky. They call it the Bridge of Death. Every single person standing on it receives a lethal dose. Pripyat has 49,000 residents. None of them have been told to stay indoors. None of them know that invisible particles are settling on their streets, their playgrounds, their skin. Children play in sandboxes contaminated with strontium-90. Mothers hang laundry on balconies as iodine-131 drifts past. Wedding parties pose for photos with the reactor, glowing in the background. Radiation has no smell, no color, no sound, no warning. You can't see it coming. You can't feel it until it's too late. Firefighter Vasily Ignatenko is in the hospital. His wife, Lyudmila, is allowed to see him. He looks sunburned. His eyes are swollen. He jokes. He says he'll be fine. In a few days, his skin will turn black and peel away in sheets. His organs will liquefy. His heart will be the size of a child's. And Lyudmila, pregnant with their child, will stay beside him, absorbing radiation he's emitting because no one warns her not to. She holds his hand. She kisses him. She's told not to touch him. She ignores the warnings. Their baby will die 4 hours after birth, having absorbed the radiation her mother carried. 36 hours after the explosion, the government finally orders an evacuation. Residents of Pripyat are told they'll be gone for 3 days. Take nothing important, they're told. You'll be back soon. Buses arrive in a long convoy. 50,000 people leave behind everything: photos, clothes, toys, pets, lives. They never return. The evacuation is orderly but surreal. People lock their doors. They leave food on tables. Clocks stop. A city freezes mid-breath. In the weeks that follow, soldiers shoot abandoned dogs and cats to prevent them from spreading contamination. The animals don't understand. They wait at doorsteps for families that will never come back. Akimov and Toptonov die in Moscow 2 weeks later. Their skin has peeled away. Their faces are unrecognizable. Nurses wrap them in sheets soaked in morphine. 28 people die within months. Firefighters, plant workers, helicopter pilots, thousands more over decades. Cancers, immune collapse, genetic damage passed to children who weren't even born yet. The Soviet Union mobilizes 500,000 people, liquidators, to contain the disaster. They shovel radioactive graphite off roofs in 90-second shifts because longer exposure means certain death. They pour concrete. They build a sarcophagus over the reactor. Many receive doses that guarantee illness. Some are told their sacrifice is classified. Their suffering becomes a state secret. The exclusion zone grows to 30 kilometers. Entire villages are erased. Forests die and turn red, later called the Red Forest. 2. Radioactive, to decompose. Animals are shot. Buildings decay in silence. Today, the ruins of Reactor 4 sit beneath a steel sarcophagus. It will remain radioactive for 20,000 years. Pripyat is a ghost city. Classrooms frozen mid-lesson. Textbooks open on desks. Hospital beds rusted in place. A Ferris wheel that never opened, intended for May Day celebrations that never came. The men who pressed the emergency shutdown button didn't cause this disaster. They inherited it. A flawed reactor, a culture of secrecy, a system that punished truth and rewarded loyalty. They were trained to trust the state. The state lied. Chernobyl didn't end in 1986. It's still happening. In the bodies of liquidators who were promised medals and given cancer, in poisoned soil that will outlive nations, in the silence of an abandoned city where time stopped but decay never did. Some disasters announced themselves with sirens. This one whispered. And 38 years later, in the empty streets of Pripyat, in the bones of men who believed they were saving a reactor that was already gone, it's still whispering.